I swear we can't go 2 weeks without talking about some plastic surgeon that's in like a lot of trouble, can we?
Right.
I mean, it's just been crazy. And once again, we don't talk about these things to, kick people when they're down, but I mean, it is things that are in the news. It's related to the field. And so we have another plastic surgeon that really is kind of allegedly made a mistake. And this is a Dr. Moore out of Utah. Have you guys heard about this guy? It was in the news the past week.
I don't think so.
Get a load of this. This is almost hard to believe. So Dr. Moore is a plastic surgeon out in Utah, and him and his employees are basically under investigation and being charged by the federal government for conspiracy to defraud the U.S. government and disposal of U.S. government property. And you know what they did? So he works at this Plastic Surgery Institute, which is in Sandy, Utah, which is outside of Salt Lake City. And what they were doing is they signed up to be a place that would administer COVID shots, okay? Which is really weird because I never in a million years would be like, oh, come to my plastic surgery office to get a COVID shot. Like, who would do
like,
that?
It's like because they're on the middle of nowhere because it's Utah?
No, it's like right outside Salt Lake. No, and there's going to be more primary care doctors than there are plastic surgeons, right?
Yeah.
So like there's going to be people to do it.
That's weird.
So that's really weird, right? But what they did is they were basically having people come in and they'd take the vial of vaccine and they'd squirt it down the sink and then they would give them a vaccination card. And what they were doing is at first they were advertising that, hey, if you want a vaccination card for whatever reason, come to us and we'll give you the vaccination card, but we won't actually give you the vaccine.
Oh, for like those people that like don't want it, but they
Right.
have to get it.
Yes,
like a card.
right. So they actually ordered 2,000 doses of vaccine along with the cards. And what's even worse, and this part really kind of like angered me a bit, when parents wanted their kids to have a vaccination card, in order to trick the kids, they actually gave them shots of saline. Like instead of drawing up the vaccination, they drew up saline and then injected the child with just absolutely nothing so that the child would believe that they'd had a vaccination. Like is that not messed up? Like, I mean, because that's like
so
doing
weird.
a procedure for no reason.
Right.
I mean, that's just great. I just can't even fathom that.
Well, that's also a parent, an adult.
I know,
thinking
right? I mean,
that.
there's just a lot of wrong going on there. The wrong of the parent for wanting to do that, to trick your child into having that they've had a vaccine.
Right.
And then also for a doctor to do that, it's mind blowing. And like, as we talked about with the vaccines last week or the week before, I can't remember, were we just talking about vaccines? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm like really a middle of the road guy with vaccines. I really am. Like I took my COVID vaccine, willingly. No one forced me to do it. At the time, I thought it was the right thing to do. As time has gone on, the vaccines have become less effective. And there's some minor things that can happen with taking vaccines, which are normal with all vaccines. So, whether or not I get another booster, I really haven't decided yet. My wife and I were just talking about that. She's kind of like the same way. She's like, well, COVID's not as severe as it was, and the vaccine's not as effective. And I was like, yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do yet. So I'm not like on either camp of like, vaccines are the best or vaccines are terrible.
Yeah.
But I mean, I do have a real issue with what they were doing. I mean, that's
really
just
weird.
wrong. Like,
hopefully he'll get his doctor, like his license.
Yeah,
to
we're gonna talk
practice,
about that.
like Hippocratic Oath stuff.
yeah.
Right?
So these guys paid about $28,000 for the vaccines, and through this scam, which I'm going to call it a scam, they made about $100,000. And what they did is, as at first, this is the crazy part, they were like openly announcing that they were giving away vaccine cards without people getting the vaccine. And then they went to like a referral only. So it's like if you went and had this done, in order for me to get in, you had to vouch for me. Like you'd be like, oh, I know Bruce, he's cool. Like I'll let them.
Like
But
word of mouth.
word of mouth, that's right.
yeah.
But what ended up happening is the FBI heard about it, and they had an FBI undercover agent
Nice.
go through and do it. And
Oh, wow.
that's how they got busted. And so, I mean, my whole question in this thing is, I mean, WTF, right? I mean,
Yeah.
what in the world were they thinking? Like,
Right.
they didn't say in any of the articles if like this guy is like anti-vax or was he just doing it for the money? But I mean,
That's what
you
I
got-
was thinking. It must have been like some type of like extreme like political.
I don't
guy.
know. Like no one, it hasn't been said yet. I mean, maybe it'll come out.
There was definitely some.
Like this just
crazies.
happened like this past week, so this is like really, really fresh. But I don't understand it because, I mean, this guy's a plastic surgeon, right? I mean, you have a lot to lose. I mean, typically people with a lot to lose don't make seriously stupid decisions. But
Yeah.
I mean, I can't identify this as anything else but that. I mean, I get for the people, you know, that maybe had a job where they said get a COVID vaccine or else you're going to lose your job. But Utah is very conservative. I can't imagine there was a lot of businesses that were saying something like that. Even if they were, as a doctor, I mean, it does go against your Hippocratic oath to do something like this. I mean, so what's going to happen to him? Well, he's going to go to prison. I'm almost certain, because that's a federal crime. I mean, that's a federal crime, and maybe they'll take a plea deal or whatever. But I can't imagine he's not going to lose his license. I mean, as of like yesterday, he was still listed as having a license in Utah. But I'm sure that the medical board is.
I feel like it wasn't like for money, because I feel like as a plastic surgeon, you make pretty good.
I mean, generally you do okay. I mean, not that you having to like hustle vaccines, like some scam.
Like, he was almost like a freaking drug dealer. Like
I know, right?
Like a backwards drug dealer.
I'm going to sell you the drug, but I'm not going to give it to you.
But actually, I'm not.
I don't know. It'll give you a card that says you bought the drug. Yeah, it's I don't know. I don't even know what to say about that whole thing. Like, when I read that, I was like scratching my head, like, wait, what now? What did he do?